Yeah, so I haven't really done any recordings this week. I was doing like one a day for like 2-3 days or 4 days or so. I don't even know. It's so hard to keep track of time, isn't it? And I've uploaded, I think, 2 of them or 3. Yeah, I've seen people have left comments. I haven't really read them, and I don't know. I thought I'd perhaps be doing recordings more regularly, uploading more regularly, and just being on the ball, if you will, whatever that means with my channel. But again, I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm trying to work out what it is. I'm trying to understand, and I was doing a recording to my mother today because she's the person that I speak to most, I suppose. I know that probably sounds strange for some of you. Some of you, I don't know, have no relationship with their mother at all, or it's just it's a bizarre situation that, I have such a kind of close relationship with my mother. I barely see her. I see her like a handful of times throughout the year, but we do voice notes all the time, and I think we just find it comforting as well for one another. I mean, I'm just bearing all, but she like wakes up pretty early. Well, her husband does, and then she'll send me a recording, and then I'll listen to it in the morning, and I'll wake up, and it's kind of company for me. Again, I go to bed alone, I wake up alone, and I listen to it while I'm in the kitchen, while I'm cleaning things up, while I'm making some tea. I have like a lemon tea in the morning, and it just keeps me company. Again, I find it very dry to listen to YouTube videos, especially at that time in the morning. I mean, for heaven's sakes, I struggle to wake up in the morning. It really takes me a long time to sort of land in the day. I've spoken about this before, my previous videos. I'm sure I have, because it's something that I really find I have a very hard time with, transitioning from that sleep dream realm, if you will, into this world. And it's like something that's so ridiculous, but I've noticed is that I'll wake up in the morning like my back is stiff and my muscles, and I say, you should really stretch. And I feel that, like, it's not a big deal, man. You have the day ahead of you. By like 5 o'clock in the afternoon or 6 o'clock, or before you eat supper, you make yourself something to eat, just do like a 15-20 minute stretch. And I say that to myself in the morning, and I think it's so doable. But comes the afternoon or the late evening, I'm thinking to myself, there's nothing worse I can think of doing. Like even a 15-20 minute stretch, just can't do it. There are many things that I just can't think of doing. Like, again, I don't know where my day goes to, and I'm not the busiest of guys, but I cannot take on much at all. I cannot make any sort of large commitments at all. Forget about it. It's just not happening. Like, if I know that I need to get my license disc renewed or my driver's renewed, and I know that this is, I don't know, having to leave the house, go places. Again, I spend too much time in the house as it is. It's just a battlefield, eh? It's just really, it's very grim. It's a very grim situation, again, because I know that there is a different kind of experience. I mean, this is the experience that I'm having and I'm met with, and there's not much I can do with it to change about it, because there's no real doors of opportunity opening for me, and you can't really force it, so I'm here. This is what it is. This is where I find myself. And again, when I moved to the country and I sold my car, or I sold whatever it was, I broke up with my girlfriend at the time. There wasn't barely any relationship, and I moved to the country, and for a year and a half, only to find myself, and it was a big move. It was a huge move for me. It was huge. I mean, my family, everyone who knew me thought I was just crazy. I came from a small Jewish community. It was the furthest thing, in South Africa, going to a farm. Like, what the hell are you doing? And I really put everything into it, and only to find myself back living in the house. I mean, a few blocks away, I was renting a house from in the house that I grew up in Sydenham, and that's the suburb in Johannesburg. And I thought, how do I find myself here? So even throughout all my efforts, and I really did, after the farm, I traveled around South Africa looking for places, communities, something that was reasonable, and it's just like really nothing. People to connect with, but really nothing. So I found myself back in Johannesburg and back in the city, and I was like, okay, I have to start up, sort of get used to this again, and then and find my way. Every day is a challenge. Every day, is my environment and the things. It's not in resonance with who I am on so many levels, and maybe you feel the same for yourselves. I'm not sure, but for myself, that is my challenge. My challenge isn't social anxiety or something like that, or addiction that's really, getting the better of me. I vape, I take Kratom, which I admit that I'm dependent on, but I don't mind. Maybe I'll do a talk on that as well. I know it's illegal in a lot of countries, and some of you are from Australia, and I know it's illegal there. But Kratom is my thing. And again, I don't feel that I have obviously I self-sabotage in certain ways. I have an inner critic. But I'm saying my work, my task at hand is really having to get through this kind of Shawshank Redemption, or Shawshank, reality in a sense, which is very prison-like. And my options of traveling, of meeting like-minded kindred spirits, it's really, I'm not trying to be negative or it's there, I'm assuming, no, I know. I properly know. And you eventually got to pick your battles. You got to deal with the cards that you have. You just what your reality is. What else can you do? Sometimes this is just how the chips fall. How the way the cookie. Listen to me, cookie crumbles, and that's it, dude. I'm saying to myself, dude, that's the way a cookie crumbles. I've got to keep telling myself that, and not in defeat. But it's absolutely miserable. And then I contrast that and think to myself, wow, how it must be like to be in spirit, in soul form, whatever it is, out of this narrative, out of this story, There's more to be said on that. I'll try to think if I can get to that point. What I mean by that. Because I think the fundamental challenge of us being here and is what we're supposed to is separation. And separation, being in the narrative, in the identity, in the ego, in the culture, in the sex, in the skin color, all of the identity, country, language, accent, for heaven's sakes. Oh man, where do you fall within your family? Are you the youngest? You're the oldest? Are you the middle? Your history, your past, your country's history, your state, your suburb, your family history, for heaven's sakes, your debt, your social security number, whatever it might be, and so much more. Your ideology, which all again hems us in and pins us down into this narrative and story, which creates a massive amount of separation from the place that we come from. Again, I dream every night. Every night I dream, and I don't remember my dreams. They are the weirdest. What dreams aren't weird? But they're so weird, and that's why I can't remember them. Because I'll wake up and I'll try and do a recording to my mother and talk about what I've dreamt. And as soon as I start speaking about it, I can't, because it all just falls apart. It just dissolves. I'm like, yeah. And then there was, and then I was driving, you can't. I don't know if I remember it. Obviously, also I think I dream hundreds of dreams in one night. And it's just so far out, but the experience of that dream is nothing like the waking moment, the waking life, nothing like it. Nothing like it. This is a bit of a funny thing that happened to me the other night. I fell asleep and I woke up and I fell asleep on my hand and I had a dead hand. I couldn't move it. I mean, it was obviously the blood, the circulation had stopped and whatever it is. You know that feeling where it's just completely numb and you can't move your hand. And it was very, very strange feeling for me. I couldn't will the movement of my hand. Like I just couldn't do it, you know? And, you know, eventually the blood starts coming back and, you know, you get nervous. Like in the middle of the night, you wake up, you can't move your hand. I mean, it was literally stuck behind my head because I'd fallen asleep with it over my head. Or I must have had my head on it. I don't know how it went. I don't know how it happened. But I literally, like, I thought to myself, geez, this is like dead weight. Like, I can't will my head. And how bizarre that experience was, because we just take it for granted, you know, all the time. You know, that our limbs work and that we, you know, that we whatever, we're in relationship to the environment around us, objects around us, distance. We know we take all that for granted. We take, it's crazy how much we take for granted and we pay the price. Anyways, I'm getting carried away. But just that alone, that experience, and like I've said before, and you know, states on psychedelic plant medicines, orgasm, music, you know, meditation, or whatever it might be, trauma, you know, intense pain. There's just so much, well, in a way, but like that, you know, when I go for a massage, and it's a killer, and I have no space for thought because it's so painful. And I realized it. I realized, like, you know, I try and like hold sort of I don't know, like a frustration that I'm having or a thought, something that's irritating me, and then while I'm being massaged, and I can't because it's just a pain. I'm so focused on that, you know. And again, it's just a relief of not having that critic or the continuous mind-numbing thoughts and just again the same pattern of, it's just so much to it. That's a whole nother talk of just what goes on in our heads every minute of the day, and not just in our heads but our emotions. You know, there's just so much going on, you know. And again, being mindfulness, which I don't think is really taught in the correct way these days. I think it's more of an escape than anything else. You know, mindfulness and meditation and, you know, whatever it might be. Anyway, I suppose maybe that's also why I don't think of doing recording. It's because there's just so much to be said. There's just so many of you to connect. Not so many of you, but there's so much that we can talk about, that we can share, that we can, you know, again with the comments, I haven't replied yet, and I must acknowledge, you know. But at the same time, it's like, where do we pick up? What do I say? I'm saying, how do we just keep it short? How do we keep it sweet and short, but yet we want to share so much of our frickin' experience and what we're going through? Just so hungry, well, I am. And I think some of you are too, maybe not all of you, but I think, I think, you know, if you're anything like me, then, and you really, if you have people in your life that you can connect with, and you really, you know, that's with myself and my mother, you know, never run out of, I wouldn't say we never run out of things to say. Again, we don't really dialogue with each other, it's more just voice notes, but I could send her just so many ideas. You know, she's up to date with things in my life and everything else. And so again, for myself, just coming back, not wanting to take on too much something that's going to require commitment, consistent commitment, where I'll have to try and place it within my day, because my day is just random. My day depending on my mood. Not that I have mood swings, I mean we all do, but what I'm saying is that when I did a recording to my mother this afternoon, I said, you know, Ma, like for me, I cannot get through the day without taking, you know, like sleeping I'll say most days. I sleep between like 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I feel terrible, guilty, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. And I should to a degree, but I can't function. And it's not like I had a bad night's sleep, but I'm wondering if I have sleep apnea. Again, I don't have anyone around to tell me about it. And I was looking at these apps, and then, you know, I sleep with a fan on. So they said they don't work if you have they kind of monitor you while you sleep. It's one called Snore Lab or something. But if you have a fan, it, you know, picks up the fan all the time and not your snoring. So I don't know. But again, I'm just so tired. So I was doing a recording to my mother, and I said, I don't appreciate what is actually tiring. It's not, oh, well, you didn't just had a good night's sleep. No, there's so much of heaviness that goes on, that my life, there's so little that I can actually look forward to, that I can actually feel excited about, that, I have people to go to the beach with and light a fire and not worry about your safety or security when you park your car. I mean, for myself, just driving out now, to different places, and the streets are dead. People, you don't walk the streets at this time. Even during the day, it's not good. South Africa's got one of the highest crime rates in the world. It's really, people are locked behind their barbed wire fences, electric fences, and 6 foot, even higher walls. With alarm systems and the security companies driving around all the time. You're telling me that doesn't have an effect on my well-being, on my psyche? Of course it does. Of course it does. You don't think just being around buildings and artificial light, if you're sensitive to it, doesn't have an effect? That's so small in comparison. For myself, I'm outside, I'm looking at the stars. I can't see any stars. Okay, look at this, it's a bit overcast, but even if it wasn't, I couldn't see any stars. Thank goodness I'm living in Durban and not Johannesburg, where I grew up on, because that's even worse. And I'm very fortunate to have a nature reserve next to me, and I'd love to go for a walk in the nature reserve, but you know what? It's too dangerous. Can you believe? I'm not talking about at night. I'm talking about in the middle of the day. I'd like to go, put my headphones on, go for a walk. You can't do that. You can't do that. You read the reviews of people that have been, say, oh, I was held up at gunpoint. You're like, oh, wow. And again, like the nervousness, carry around this phone of mine. It's not an expensive phone. It's not about the expense. It's about what would happen if it got stolen, and my contacts. And I got 2 SIM cards here, and one is for the Kratom business, because I sell Kratom. I don't know what I would do. Then I have to go and find out these. And then the thing is that the account is in my father's name. It's a long story. Then I got to get his ID, and I got to go to all the bureaucracy and the paperwork and all of these things. I mean, it was just the other day, and I was so frustrated. I've got one of these Trelly doors. Don't know what you want to call them. I don't know what they call overseas, wherever it is, but it's like a gate that slams shut and you open it with a key. It's obviously not a door, it's like a gate type of thing, and it's got like an accordion. I wouldn't say it's accordion, and the key got stuck in, and I thought to myself, oh man. And I didn't have much to do, but I just don't like anything that's going to take me for 45 minutes on this now. I don't know, I just find, I don't know if I'm explaining myself correctly, but I don't know, I feel like at the same time I'm in such a freaking hurry. I don't know. I mean, the world is in a hurry, but I just feel it takes so long to do things, and I feel like I'm in a hurry. Like, what should I be doing? I don't know. I suppose maybe there's this enthusiasm in me, this excitement in me, this romance in me, this love in me that just wants to share with others that before my time comes, to have deep experience, rich experience, not to just be this humdrum, again, so desperate that it takes listening to my mother's voice note in the morning, that I find it to be company or something like that. I'm just like, yeah, it really is Shawshank, man. Shawshank for me. And I hope none of you are going to, especially from my last video, are going to give me advice, because I'm not looking for any advice. I'm not looking for, well, you got to travel then. You don't know my situation fully. I'm telling you now, I know what I'm doing. It's not like a quick fix. There isn't something that I haven't thought of, believe me. Sure, I have my apprehensions and my anxieties about certain things, but I know realistically again, this is the point of this talk, which I didn't even intend to do this talk at all, but I just picked up the microphone and just wing it. Yeah, also, what am I going to do? Just stand outside with the cat, and because I'm walking the cat now as well, and I've got to pass the time. She looks forward to it the whole day, and I find it so boring. And she's very happy. She's very happy, but I find it boring. Yeah. So what was I going to do? So I'm getting carried. I'm getting thing. Yeah. So damn it, man. How did I let myself go off so off topic? Now I forgot. So again, the point for what I'm saying is I actually had to do another recording. I completely forgot what I was saying. Is the challenge at hand. Again, I think I've made videos on that before, and again, I don't remember my previous videos, and I don't have the energy to go back and listen to them. Again, I'm just trying to keep my space here right now as simple as I possibly can. To give you kind of an idea, maybe on your phone, you got so many apps that you don't use. You got so many photos, perhaps. You got just, let's say, in your laptop, you got so many TV series and videos, if you're like me, that you need to delete, and you need to put it in proper folders and whatever. And you know what? You just don't ever getting around to doing it. And then your phone, until you get no space on your phone, or maybe you're sitting at a bus stop or something, you're at the dentist and you think, okay, well, let me do it. But it's a chore. And I do not like that nitty-gritty kind of stuff, and having to go back and listen to my videos and, oh, this is where you are holding. The world is screaming at me. There's just so much happening in the present moment in a way. And I'm just trying to hold the fort. I'm just trying to hold the line and trying to get through it. Just holding myself together. I don't know if that kind of makes sense. But I don't want to get involved in anything too much. I can't handle it. Again, I get overwhelmed very easily. I have to sleep during the day, which is kind of like a meditation or just an unplugging. I find it very hard. I find it very hard with shopping malls. I find it hard to get too much done. I find cell phone is hectic, man. I'm on these WhatsApp groups for the community, and it's a crime group for what's going on in the neighborhood, for alerts. Yes, it's true. I'm not exaggerating. There's community groups of people just saying just general stuff. We have water issues here. I had to get a JoJo tank. It's just like a 2,000 litre tank with a pump, because the water keeps going off like almost every day for most of the day. It comes in the morning. Again, it's the government. They haven't maintained the sewage system, and the money was corrupted. And so people, they live with solar. They got solar panels on their roofs, and you can't rely, I don't really, but you have to have, you need an inverter or something like that, because they cut the power several hours a day. Look, it's stopped now because it's elections. So now, miraculously, after many years, and like load shedding every single day, sometimes 6 hours a day, sometimes in certain places more. You don't know what that's like. Coming from, if you're in a first world country, you do not know what that's like. You can't believe, and you can't even imagine it. And try and sort of manage that. You can't. And in this country, like my mother's friend, she's got a friend who's 82 years old, and she lives like in a 5-story building. The elevator doesn't work. So these people are trapped in their buildings. Hospitals run generators. Supermarkets just burn diesel. They have massive you have to find a way. Anyway, my point is what I'm saying again with the phone and the information and the politics and the different energies and the different places. It's like, if you ever had to meet me, there is no chance that you and I will sit down in a coffee place to have a cup of coffee. There's just no ways. I cannot do that. I'm not capable of doing that. It's just too much for me. I hear the espresso machine going. I hear the freezer. How they make these. They call them freezers. The music that's going that no one's really listening to. The waiters, the smells. Oh, it's just like, it's too much. It's just too much. It's like I'm somebody who's been living in the early 19th century, and all of a sudden just sort of time travel till now. And I'm like bewildered. And everybody is bewildered, but people don't even really feel it, and it's not as intense for them. You know, again, they're not as sensitive where they can feel if the food that they're eating was made with love or not. I'm telling you, okay, it could be in my mind, but I know when I'm not in a good mood and I'm cooking something and I don't want to be cooking it, it doesn't have a good taste to it. But if I'm enjoying it, if I'm, I don't know, listening to something, watching something on the laptop and just feeling good, I know that food's going to come out well. Not just well, but I feel it and I taste it and it's like good, you know. I'm telling you, so being sensitive at that level and taking in as much information as I'm taking in, it's bewildering. It's too crazy, it's too intense living in the world. I mean, even now, I'm still wearing my earplugs. I mean, they're not all the way in, but I find it comforting. You know, in the autumn, no, it's not the autumn, it's more the spring, it gets very windy for like a whole month. It's excruciating windy. And I got these massive palm trees all around me, and they just move the whole day. It's crazy. And for me, I got it like, I can't. It's just too much. That's just too much. And it's not just me, because I was telling this to somebody, it was quite a while ago, and they said, I remember when I was at school, and it was this season that the teachers used to say to the children, listen, it's very windy, and therefore we don't, just keep your cool, everybody. Just don't get all, because it makes you angst. It's like hectic. It's just so much movement. Human beings aren't supposed to be, I don't think so. We're not made. We have to force ourselves to all of this kind of stimuli. It just doesn't happen. Just doesn't happen. Like I told you about this boy of mine, and he's 18 months, and again putting him into a play group, got to be very careful, because Leanne is also, we're not rowdy people, not that we live together, but she's not rowdy, and the place is very calm, in a sense, and it's, she's not a busybody in a way, and I've noticed, and we take him to play group, it's hard for him to adjust because of how much, it took me a couple of tries to find a play group that he could they would be suiting to him. Some of the play groups, the parents drop their kids off at their children off at 7:15, pick them up at 5 o'clock. There was 3-month-old baby that was there, and this happens. For me, that child is orphaned. Can you imagine? The parent wakes up in the morning, is rushed. Oh, my darling, so sweet, drops him off. And look, they don't have a choice, because they have to make it a living. They have to, what can they do? They took 3 months off for maternity leave, and they have to be back. And then they pick up the child at 5:30, and then they exhausted. 3-month-old baby. That's abandonment. And on the weekends, but it's crazy, people, what's going on here. It's crazy. It's absolutely madness. It's sheer, utter madness. Anyway, so for this, for this boy, for me, I can see when he goes into his play groups, we found one, and it's like only 12 children, and it's okay, but I can see it's too much for him. And I'm not just passing on my sensitivities to him, because he's a very sensitive little boy. He's extremely, extremely sensitive. Leanne is also very, very sensitive, and she also can't do shopping malls. In certain ways, she's worse than I am. Although, is she? I think in certain ways she is. But in certain ways I'm worse than she is, so it's really bad. I don't know. Anyway, so contending with the times we're in, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what I was saying to my mother. That's why I'm tired. We can do a whole nother conversation, a whole nother recording on why I just feel tired so much of the time. And I don't feel excited, I don't feel motivated, and I don't. And this is just something that I got to get through. This is just something that I'm saying. This is a part of my life, and I know that in the next life, this will be like, you can't even compare. You can't even contrast the real deeper experience of that without that separation, without the narrative, without the story. You won't be able to even compare it. It will be so foreign. This world, I really feel, will be so different and so foreign, and it's almost like a dream that you have at night. It's like you can't relate to the dream really, and the setup of the dream, and the narrative, and the players, and the events of the dream. A dream is like exponential. A dream is just so much happening. It's not like you're frickin' sitting in your kitchen on your own, day in and day out to a large degree, cooking, and it's just very mediocre. I know at the same time I'm talking about overstimulation, but it's all artificial stimulation. It's all machine-like stimulation. It's all AI stimulation. It's all energetic stimulation from other people and environments and lighting and EMF and whatever it might be. There's just so much stimulation. But in a dream, it's like adventure. There's something going on. There's an exploration. Things are just completely inside out and upside down, and it's like you've never been here before. In a way. So can't be contrasted to. I mean, we do this every single night, and yet people are not blown away by it because there's no space for it. It's not important. It's not relevant. It's just random. It's almost as random as what goes on your screensaver when your computer, on your laptop, when you're not using your computer, your screensaver. It's not really relevant. But that's it. We need to lend into that and let that bleed into our waking life and our living life, and see, wow, that is so freaking bizarre. So that's what I feel, that when this world is over, like, for example, when I was at school, it was hell, but it's gone now. It has left an impression on me, of course, and it's unfortunate that I had to go through it, but I'm just saying it's so hard, it's so difficult to just capture what once was. To a certain degree. I mean, obviously traumatic moments are easy to capture, unfortunately, but like, so hard, because again, I mean, when I had kidney stones, that intense pain, I don't remember it. I don't remember what it was like to be in that exact experience. But again, I think with trauma, people are still living in that exact experience, because they haven't grown through it, so they're still anyways being operated from that place of trauma. Yes, Kitty? What do you say? Yeah, that's where it's coming from. So it's change, it's novelty, and again, for myself, it's like, I know one day this will be a dream. It'll be miles and miles and miles. I'll be miles away from it, hundreds and millions of miles away from this narrative. I won't look the same. I mean, my body's aging. Myself, I'm transforming. It all flows. It all flows. And so, isn't that like amazing that at the same time, there's just so much novelty, there's just so much transforming, even for myself. Again, the time is slipping through my fingers, can't hold on to, it's just transformation, it's just growth, it's just change and novelty. And at the same time, the world is so mundane. Isn't that amazing? I mean, I'm not just talking about like AI and the evolution of AI and technology and whatever it is, and social medias and internet speeds and all of those things. I'm saying, so it's exponential. There's no question about it. And what's it called? That point that Ray Kurzweil talks about, the singularity, and heading towards that. And I mean, it's huge what's going on. It's huge. This I heard is quite interesting. The guy said that, there won't ever be another Titanic movie or another Shawshank Redemption movie. There won't be a movie that will live in people's hearts for a long time and like worldwide. There won't be. Or like a band like the Beatles, let's say, or you get my idea. Or even there can't be, because there's just so much going on. And nothing holds the limelight for very long anymore. So even if there was this incredible movie with the best actors, you know, A-list actors, the highest budget paid movie. You know, some people would watch it, you know, some people watch it in the cinema, they'd watch it over here, they'd watch it over here, and, you know, it will just, it won't be as relevant. There'll never be things as relevant as one band. Like they say, the Beatles, whether they were very good or something like that, there just won't be anything like that. There's no, I mean, there's Justin Bieber and all these other nonsense people, but you get what I'm saying. They will always be remembered, or to a certain degree. So there's just too much going on. It doesn't have the significance. Barely anything has any significance anymore, like I said before. So there's just so much evolution and change, but at the same time, the world is so mundane. I just see people, oh, they're so boring. They're so uninspiring. They're so annoying. They're so regressed. They're so childish. They're so immature. They're so petty. They're so lost. I'm sorry to say, most people that I come across and what I see, you know, I see this thing on YouTube about with you know, like for the politics in South Africa. I've been following it quite a bit, and you just see the people's comments, South African comments, and on videos, and I just can't believe it. I'm like, gee whiz, we're so screwed. Like, so many of the comments are just such rubbish, such idiotic people saying the most idiotic things, arguing for like the ANC. It's just so stupid, so lost. So, and sometimes I think about, you know, speaking to them, and I think, nah, I can't. You know, there's just no ways. Also, what goes on in the world and with the woke agenda and these people, and it's like, oh my word, you just can't believe it. And no wonder the world. I just can't appreciate again how I don't know how screwed up this world is with so many people, you know. So again, there's just so much of that. Anyways, I'm getting tired here, and so let me end off. Yes, Kitty, let me end off. So yeah, can't seem to take on too much, afraid of big things, afraid of commitment, afraid of, I mean, can you imagine me trying to start a job, you know? And even with my creating business, like I don't follow up with it. I send people the orders, you know, my customers, the people that I supply to and like that word customers, and I don't send them and say, oh, this is how much you owe me. You know, I don't send them the invoice, and I got to follow up and say, hey, listen, I still owe you for this. I should be marketing it. I should be more involved, but I don't want to be involved with people. I don't want to be, you know, like have too many orders, which I need, you know, I can do with the money, and it'll be great, and like I feel so good, but at the same time I feel like, oh no, they're going to all call in one day, or if they do, and I'll spend like 4 hours in the morning working on this and standing and packaging the stuff and the crates and the ordering and talking to them. I'll be like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want something to be that influences me on such a level, that demands so much of my attention and my energy, that I don't know how to navigate what I'm doing right now, just managing in this world, right? Does that make sense? Maybe that's the point I'm trying to get to. Like something I'm just going to become like everybody else, or sort of just automatic, or something or other. I can't even be automatic, but I just can't take on so much. I can't. It's like, again, having one foot in the mystical world and whatever it is, and then the one foot in the machine world, and oh man, in the matrix. And it's just, I don't want to be too involved in the matrix. I don't want to be consumed by it, you know. I don't want it to I don't know. I'm scared of it. And I'm scared of getting involved with too many people and having too many commitments to people, or something or other, that I wake up and I got to like go, or something or other, or like have a job to get. I can't think about that stuff. It's just so scary, you know. Like I think about, like, God forbid, if one of my family members wasn't well and I had to travel to Joburg, you know, Johannesburg, and be there for like 2-3 weeks while they get better. I thought to myself, how will I handle that? Oh man, I don't know. I'm just taking this thing inside. I don't know how. I don't know how. I get like these safety boots from my brother's company, like, damages and old stock, and it arrived yesterday, and I got to go through this stuff, and I'm just like, when am I going to do that? So, buddy, it's not such a big deal. But then I think to myself, I still got to go through that. I got to count the stock, and I got to see what pairs there are and the size. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. But also, I'll tell you something else, and I end from this again, like I mentioned before. When you're on your own, things are very, very, very tedious. Again, it feels like if you're carrying something that's, say, 5 kgs, I don't know how many pounds that is, it's like 10 times that weight when you're on your own, when you're lonely. Again, like now, I'm walking into this massive house. It's just me. I woke up in this massive house. I go to bed in this massive house on my own. It's so quiet. It's just so quiet. And you'll say it's peaceful, but it's not a peace. Peaceful is being out in nature, man. Peaceful is being able to hear the crickets at night, being able to hear the wind blowing or something like that. That's not this. This is like, a classroom that you're in and the lights are off and it's cold and just, I'm saying a classroom at school or something, at a school that you went to. Yeah, that's what it's like. So this is my challenge. I always thought my challenge would be maybe to I don't know, it wouldn't be this, but this is what it is. This is my challenge and navigating it, and within my relationship with Leanne, if that's what you want to call it, and everything else and the time that we are in, and everything that I'm going through, that this is the way that it's supposed to be, and this is what I need to be doing. All right, take care. So I'll give you an example of what I mean. So I finished that recording. It's now 11. Okay, no wonder I'm so tired. I thought it was 10. Anyways, no wonder. So I suppose it's also that I'm tired because this evening I said to myself, not am I, I'm going to stretch, I'm going to upload a video and I'm going to reply to the comments. And I thought I would come now and I would sit and I would upload a video, edit the video, upload it, and then reply to the comments. And as I sit down, I think to myself, okay, I'm also tired. But then I realized again, let's say I got, it's ridiculous, let's say I get so many comments, and then again, I'm opening my world up to them, then I feel like I need to go through and reply to the comments. And I'm getting involved in other people's world. I'm getting involved in the subject that I was talking about back then, which I don't even remember what I was saying. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be repeating myself often in my videos of things that I've said much longer ago, many years ago, and even now, and it's probably the same thing in a way. It's the same theme in a sense. And when I talk about loneliness, when I talk about the next video I want to upload, or the one that it'll be a couple of weeks from being this one that I'm uploading, but this one will come after. But it's just about, again, the importance of being seen. And I mean, how many videos have I done in the past about the need to be seen in relationship and connection? And so again, I'm pretty much probably saying the same thing. I don't even remember if I spoke about it. That is the interesting thing. When I do seldomly go back and listen to a video of mine, I'm like, from maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, say, oh, well, it's pretty on the ball. Like I was saying that now, and this is what I'm feeling, and I don't give myself enough credit, firstly. But then again, that also, I think to myself, well, what's going on here? Also why? And I realized, okay, I don't hold myself in good esteem. Like I think sometimes, again, I didn't really have much value in my previous talks, and now I'm a little bit more wiser, I'm a little bit older, a little bit more reasonable, a little bit more experienced, and therefore what I'm saying now is better. But you see, again, I'm my own worst critic, and that's a problem. I'm also a critic again when I'm uploading videos, and a lot of just things come to my mind again. Oh, your video is so long, and you're really getting into so much nitty gritty and detail, and oh man, it's like a constant war, because I like to re-listen to what I'm uploading and say, well, what did I say then, and what are people going to listen to now? So I like to, and then I'm having to go back into that space and remember what was going on in those days, and what was I thinking, what was I going through, and then I kind of relive it, because again, when I think you live beyond the surface of things, you relive things, even when you remember them in a way, the memory or just the experience is a lot more. It's not just like a thought, but there's an emotion with it as well. And so I'm thinking and getting enveloped then again in where I was holding 2 weeks ago, what was happening and what the challenges were, and what I just there's so much information. And so that's kind of what I'm saying, is that even sitting down to edit a video, and what's my approach going to be? What do I it is just the apprehension of, again, the fears that come in, the concerns, are you even making sense? As I was ending off, before doing this, as I was ending off this video, now this is just like to be, whatever you want to call it, just putting this towards, I'm so tired. So thinking to myself, and often, did I even make any sense? It's terrible. So I think to myself, well then, why even bother doing it? Just don't give yourself the opportunity to feel that you're not interesting, or not that you're not. I know that I am, but I also know that I'm going through a very, very challenging and difficult time called life, and that, what am I saying? And that's it's already challenging. It's already hard. So then why go and make it even harder for yourself? Give yourself opportunity. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm very tired. Yeah. So the self-doubt comes in, and you've got to deal with that as well. And then I find myself thinking about people in my channel that I know, some of you, and, well, am I going to say something that is a bit offensive to you? It's ridiculous what I have to contend with, and I need to learn to go with the flow and say to hell with it. And I know that's one of my challenges. I need to not get hung up on the small things and just go with it, because I'm getting in my in my own way. Yeah. So you see, I'm saying a lot here. I'm going all over the show, and that's what my life feels like, and that's what it's like. I wake up and it's like, well, what's today going to bring? I don't see it as an adventure. I see it more as like, well, what have you got to face, buddy? What are you got to get through? It is. That's my life. That's the reality. There's no switch off here. It's full on, 24/7. 365 days of the year, and in dream state as well. It's just ongoing, this process, and then one day, close your eyes and the lights go out, and then poof, it's all gone. But right now, it's the biggest deal in town. It's all that there is right now, to a certain degree. There's so many contradictions and diametrically opposed opposites and irony, and there's just so much. And it's not fun, but it's necessary. Yeah, all right.